So now we're going to talk about how we can make changes to the conditional statement. So let's start with our basic components, P and Q. And we're going to define a relationship that we've seen before a few times but haven't actually codified, which is that if P implies Q, this is equivalent to another statement. The negation of Q implies the negation of P. We've done this in a couple examples. We saw that the truth value is the same, so this actually holds, where we say that for this relationship here, if P then Q, if not Q then not P, is what is called its contrapositive. We've seen that term as well before, but now we can really specifically talk about what it is. So let's say that P and Q are the statements I live in Fort Myers and I live in Florida. We could write if P then Q as if I live in Florida, if I live in Fort Myers, then I live in Florida. Where this is a straightforward statement, and we could write a logically equivalent version by flipping the order of these two and negating each by getting the contrapositive. This is the same logically as saying, if I do not live in Florida, then I do not live in Fort Myers. Which hopefully you can tell is true in much the same way. Assuming we're talking specifically about Fort Myers, Florida, that is.
South America, take it away!
We can see that connection, hopefully. And we have other things that we can talk about with this type of connection between statements, where we have what is called the converse, and we also have what is called the inverse. So, for statements P and Q, where we have the conditional statement if P then Q, the converse of a statement of form if P then Q is gotten by just reversing the two terms. So the converse of P then Q would be Q then P. So in this case, it would be, if I live in Florida, then I live in Fort Myers. So you see that when you take the converse of a true statement, you get something that is true occasionally, but not always. Just like what we saw at the beginning as well, with that idea on the statements involving Kanye and the Grammys. On the other hand, we have another idea called the inverse, where for the inverse of a statement, what we do is take the contrapositive of the converse, or equivalently, we just negate each condition in the original conditional statement. So what we get is not P implies not Q. Here we could read that as, if I don't live in Fort Myers, then I don't live in Florida. Again, true in many cases, but not universally. And the guarantee doesn't flow back in the way that we would like to with a contrapositive. This is equivalent to that, but these two are not equivalent to those two, very importantly. So next we're going to take a look at an example.